Looking at the third of our 5 reasons why business plans fail. So we've talked about not making a plan to start with. We've talked about not having specific goals. We're now going to talk about the failure to implement. Okay, we're going to talk about the failure to implement your plan, and then we're going to talk about the lack of accountability and measurement after that. So we're talking about failure to implement, and that is a big issue. So we talked before that 10% of business plans don't get implemented. That is a massive statistic. That means a lot of the time developing a plan has been wasted. And I'm not a big fan of wasting time, but you need to make sure that you take steps to implement. Now, there are a lot of reasons why people don't actually implement the plans. And one is that people just get too busy. Well, why are we getting busy? Are we being busy, or are we working hard doing the right things? Where are we investing our energy? What are the right things we should be doing? We can be busy doing a lot of things, but they're not actually adding to our end goal. They're not helping us to achieve. So we need to be very careful about where we're investing our energy. And having a plan that actually gives us specific, measurable steps to take helps us be more specific and helps us with implementation. And look, we need to make sure we implement, okay? There are a lot of reasons why people don't implement. One is being a bit too busy, but we're also going to unpack some of these other reasons why people get to the point of having a plan developed, but it never actually happens. There's lots of statistics on it. And look, one of the things that comes through is that people get overwhelmed. People get overwhelmed. There is just so much to do. Where do I start? It is not uncommon for us to do a strategy session with a client. So we often do like a half-day session with a client where we come up with their plans, their strategy, and we'll look at what are the things that they need to be working on. And we'll come up with 70 to 100 different action points for that business, or things they'd like to do, or things they need to do that they've identified are important. But you can't focus on that many things. People get overwhelmed. There is just way too much. Where do you start? What should you start with? And this is where one of our roles is as an accountant, but also as a business advisor, is that we actually help you identify where you should be focused. What are the areas you need to focus on first? And what are the priorities? What are the 3 actions you need to focus on right now? So we limit this down to 3 things, and that is generally enough for you to focus on. 3 things that you're going to work on now. What are those most important things for you now? And we're going to give you 90 days to work on those 3 things. That's 3 actions. Okay. By limiting it to 3 things, that is generally what gets done. Most business owners can focus on 3 extra things, because remember, you are still running your business. You're still doing the day-to-day of your business. Your business still exists. You cannot just walk away from your business at this time and the business continue to operate, particularly for a small business owner where you are so central to the business. Now, we want you to not be as crucial to the business. We want the business to be able to exist without you, but we need to get to there first. So the first steps are, what are the 3 actions we need to focus on now? And they are the most important things. They are also the things that are going to give us the most impact starting right now. What are the things with the most impact? And when we start doing things and working through in the list in terms of what's most important and what gives the most impact, we tend to find that a lot of those smaller items in that 70 to 100 wish list of things to do, they actually get achieved. They're byproducts, or they actually are not important. They are not important. They were nice things. They were things we thought we needed. But when we actually work through and we focus, we sharpen our focus, we identify that those things really aren't important. They are a waste of our energy. They are not necessary to our end goal. And that's why we need to be focused on what we're doing. So identify 3 things, the 3 key things. And with each of those 3 things, we need to know who is going to do what. When are they going to do it by? And what resources are they going to need to do it? That's all we're doing at this stage. We're working out who's going to do it, when they're going to do it by, and what do they need to do it. So very simple. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. And I'm a big fan of simplifying the business process, the planning process. Documenting where, in the past we used to have our 60 and 70 page documents and they never got done. They were polished documents, but they ended up sitting on a bookshelf and didn't actually get implemented. So we need to make sure it happens. And that's why we're going to simplify the process. We're simplifying it down to, these are the 3 things that we are going to focus on. And we're going to identify who's going to do it, what they need to do it, and when they're going to do it by. And then once we've identified that for each of those 3 action items, we need to know how we are going to measure the action is effective. How are we going to measure it? Now, a lot of modern cloud-based accounting and sales and CRM systems allow you to capture the data quickly, easily, and produce it in a format that you can use. So we need to get those systems in place. Make it easy to measure the effectiveness of each action. How are you going to be accountable? Who are you going to tell? And we build that process of accountability into the process we use with working with our clients. We have a monthly process where we keep them accountable. What have you done? Tell me what you've done. What were the outcomes? What are the steps? And here is the financial impact of what you've done. Now, we find that holding those monthly accountability meetings with our clients means that the client is more likely to actually implement the action, because they do not want to have those meetings where they say, no, I didn't get around to it again, because they know I'm going to be asking that question. What have you done? Show me what you did and what were the outcomes. And then we will actually know, because we've already determined what is a measure of success. So we will be able to measure against our criteria for success. So making it happen, being very specific, make it happen. We have a plan. These are our actions. We're going to make our goals turn into reality. So we want to avoid the failure to implement. We know the stories of the builder that doesn't have a completed house, the architect that never designs their dream home. They're too busy doing other people's work. Make it happen. What are the steps you need to do? And remove the barriers and make it happen. Equip yourself or get the resources you need. Identify what you need to do and come back to what is going to help. So when we look at the 3 things we're going to focus on, the first things we look at are what are the things that are going to give you the most momentum? What are the quick wins or low-hanging fruit? What's actually going to help you get started? So it's like the immediate weight loss that helps you encourage, the rewards that you get from starting, the immediate gains, that they're easier to get so that you keep that momentum, you keep that energy, that excitement about doing the work. So what are the things that are going to make an immediate impact? And these can be very simple things sometimes. One client we worked with, they were sending out their invoices and it was taking, I think 65 days before they actually got paid. So one of the first things we had to address was, how can we improve the speed at which we get paid by our customers? Now, in this situation, it was a very quick win. We looked at the invoices they were sending out to customers. And one thing was obvious, there was no due date on the invoice. It did not say when they needed to be paid by. It had some ridiculous term which said net 14 days. But it didn't actually say, this is when we want to be paid. Did it mean 14 days after the end of the month? Did it mean 14 days after completion, 14 days after the customer's payment cycle? When did it actually mean? So by putting a specific date on the invoice, the outcome we achieved was that the time it took to get paid by a customer on average went down from 65 days to 46 days. Now that's a big win, particularly when cash flow is one of the big 3 concerns of any business. So it's not hard to identify some of the areas where you can get some quick wins and build some momentum. What are the 3 most important actions that are going to have the most impact on your business straight away? And celebrate that success. But in this process, yes, we can do it all ourselves, but we encourage you to get help. Use the resources, use the experience of your accountant, your business advisor. Contact the team at Pretium Solutions and find out how we can help you make it happen.